Hello and welcome to another edition of City Slickers. I'm Mark Wiley and I'm joined at the Shed Pub in Lincoln by the Echo's imps writer Lee Curtis. Over the next few minutes we'll be looking back on the last 7 days at Sincil Bank. We'll hear from assistant boss Iffy Anora and defender Nat Brown. We'll also look ahead to the imps home game against Stockport on Saturday. Okay Lee, let's start by talking about the imps win against Notts County on Tuesday night. It wasn't a great game but a terrific result.
Absolutely, it was awful game, awful conditions, very wet and windy, but I thought Lincoln played exceptionally well considering the circumstances. I thought they battled, they dug in, and to be fair to to Lincoln, their goal was hardly threatened. I thought Alan Marriott had a very quiet night, and fortunately they created one chance which they managed to take, and that was Jamie Forrester.
46 points now, they're surely safe from relegation. I think if they didn't get another point all season they'll be okay.
Yeah, after the game, if he spoke that they're still not guaranteed safety, but I think it'd take an absolute catastrophic drop in form for them to go down now. I think the emphasis is on now trying to finish the season as strongly as they can. And I'm sure they've got a great chance of doing that. They're in very good form. They've won 7 of the last 9, and hopefully they'll come away with a win against Stockport tomorrow.
Now we think they're safe. They're probably too far back to make a challenge on the playoffs. What do you want to see from the team between now and the end of the season?
I think I spoke to Iffy about this on Thursday, and I do believe in what he says, that if you finish the season strongly, then it's a good indicator of how you'll start the next season. If we look back at what happened last year when Lincoln went out of the playoffs, they had that terrible run from January through till May, and the season got off to a very poor start, and the momentum just seemed to continue. So hopefully what I'd like to see is Lincoln really power on now for the final few months, and hopefully next season start greatly, and hopefully bring the promotion that the club deserve.
Okay, we'll look ahead to the game against Stockport in a moment, but first here's assistant boss Iffy Anora.
Yeah, absolutely delighted with them and for them. They did respond in the right way, and you can hopefully put Friday down to just a blip that occasionally happens, and now they just set a standard which they need to maintain between now and the end of the season. And like I said, just see where it takes us. Plenty of points to play for. We can't do anything about position-wise because that'll depend on other things. But certainly just a question of accumulating points, and obviously now being able to maybe to blood one or two of the younger ones as well. But plenty to play for, certainly. We're only concerned about ourselves. We're not here to make life easy for anybody, any team. We're on about ourselves. I want to see the same levels that we, in terms of drive and work rate and all those things that we saw on Tuesday night. So unlike what we said, if we do that, then I don't care what the league table says. I think we're as good as anyone in the division. We've shown that. Our form, after the season had started in whatever January or whatever, I think we'd be right up there. So that shows that what we're capable of. And like I always say to teams now, I'm not too concerned about the league table now. I think no team wants to play Lincoln at the moment. Absolutely no team. Chesterfield caught us on a bad night, but any other team coming here will know that they're going to be in for a real game.
Okay, someone Iffy has been talking about this week is Danny Ngesson Lee. He wants to see more of him. He wants to see him start realising his potential, because he's a bit frustrating to watch at times, isn't he?
Danny is one of those players who is blessed with so much ability, and if you look at his attributes, he's very strong, he's good in the air, can finish, can use both feet, and he's very strong, got great skill. He's got everything that most players would die for. The problem is he hasn't got no consistency. But what we've got to remember of that is that he's still very young, he's still learning, he's probably still trying to adapt to the English game somewhat, and I think patience is going to be needed with Danny. I certainly think from some of the performances we've seen this year, I go back to the Accrington game back in August. It was absolutely immense that day. Had them up in knots, and and when he's like that, he's virtually unstoppable. But the problem is we don't see that often enough, and I suppose it's Iffy's job and Peter Jackson's job to try and make him become a consistent player. Because if he is, I don't think he'd be here for long anyway. Because I think he's certainly got everything needed to play either in the Championship or the Premiership.
Now, Danny started the last couple of games. Do you think it's a good opportunity to give him a run of games in the side to see what he can do?
Yeah, I don't think it'd do him any good at all, like playing a couple and not having the best of games and then dropping out, because I think Danny's one of these players who may be a little bit sulky. If things aren't going right for him, his head will go down, and So hopefully with the final couple of months of the season they can get him out there, keep giving him the ball. There's no pressure on him to perform because obviously Lincoln are out of the relegation battle now, so hopefully he can sort of relax, enjoy his football, get a good run in the team, start to find that little bit of consistency, hopefully finish the season well, and the next season we can look ahead and hopefully get the best out of Danny.
Now moving on to the game against Stockport, it's taken them a while to get into the playoff race, but they're in there now. We're not too surprised because we're a decent side.
Yeah, they're a fantastic side, but arguably Lincoln went there and played them off the park. They won 3-1. Is probably Lincoln's best performance of the season. I would say, they were fantastic that night. But and everyone thought that when Stockport got rid of Anthony Elding that would be it, and there was a bit of a concern about where the goals were going to come from. But Liam Dickinson stepped in, and what a player he's turned out to be. I think 16 goals this season. He's about 6'5", and he's for a big lad. He's very quick. He's got a good touch. He's good in the air. So I quite fancy Stockport because I think on their day when they're at it, they're a very, very, very good team.
And it's often the sides who come with a late one that actually end up getting promotion, isn't it?
Well, that's right, yeah. And looking at the who's in there at the minute, they all seem to be having a little bit of a wobble. Apart from Stockport, his away form is absolutely terrific. And at home they're a good team as well. They only get sort of 4,000, 5,000 in at Edgeley Park. But the noise they make is absolutely, immense. It's probably one of the best atmospheres in the division. So with that behind them, they just missed out last year, and so hopefully, they'll be wanting to try and make it this year.
Now, Nat Brown is expected to continue in the starting lineup against Stockport on Saturday, and we caught up with the versatile defender earlier this week.
Well, I'm in cover at right back at the moment, and
because it's not your natural position.
It's not my natural position, but he seems to play there while Ridge is out, and see what happens. And I've not got a bad attitude, and if he says play there, I'll try and give it all my best. But I am a centre half, and I just have to wait for my time to come back there. It's a transformation which Lincoln City, it's the same team that we had last season, one or two different faces, and the lads are capable of pushing for promotion. Like so last season we started well and ended not very good. This season we started not very good and we're ending well, and what it is, we've got to keep consistency all the way through for the season, and it could see Lincoln City get promotion. Well, I think the current squad is capable, the gaffer, I believe, it's up to him what he wants to bring in or not, but he is capable of getting up there. It's just finding the momentum and keeping it.
OK, that was Nat Brown there. Lee, even though he's got a year left on his contract, he's still playing for his future, really, isn't he? Because he's had a bit part role this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, and speaking to him on Thursday, it was clear that that's something he doesn't want to go back to. He doesn't want to be sitting on the bench. He made it perfectly clear in his interview that he didn't come here to sit on the bench. He wants to play games, and but the problem he's got is he's trying to break into that centre back pairing of Lee Beavers and Danny Hone, and they've been exceptional in the past few weeks. That's the reason why Lincoln have gone on such a great run, because as Peter Jackson's kept telling us, clean sheets are vitally important. Nat's obviously come in because of Lee Ridley's injury. He's come in at right back while Paul Green switched to the left. That's not his natural position. But speaking to him, he desperately wants to keep in the side, even if it means playing right back from now until the end of the season. I just think if he's not going to get a run in the team and thinks that perhaps he's not going to be part of the long-term plans here, then maybe he'll seek a move himself. We've just got to wait and see what happens on that score. OK, Lee, it's prediction time. How's it going to go against Stockport? I think Lincoln have played very well of late. They were excellent against Wickham at home a couple of weeks ago. Defensively, they were brilliant against Notts County on Saturday, and they haven't got the heat of a relegation battle at the minute, so you can go out there, relax, play a bit of football. And although Stockport are a very good side away from home, so it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think Lincoln will come away with a 1-0 victory. All
right, well, I'm going to go for 1-1. Now, if you can't make the game against Stockport on Saturday, you can join me for the Big Match Live, which you can access on sportsecho.co.uk. I'll be online from about 2:30.
And don't forget, there'll be an exclusive interview with Peter Jackson in tomorrow's newspaper, where I'll be talking about his treatment and what he's been doing while he's been away. And also, I'll be in the Siren FM studios on Monday, where I'll be with Mark Wiley reviewing all the action from the weekend. And we'd just like to wish Lincoln City ladies all the best for their FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal on Sunday. That game's at Sincil Bank, kick-off 3 p.m. Until then, have a great weekend. Cheers.